Yes, sir. All right.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
So I wanted to say that with you talking about Tristan and how things are different for you now, we really have to talk about the elephant in the room here, and the time that I wrote that letter to you and me reading it to you today also had the purpose of this conversation exactly that the reason the dynamic has changed between you and Trist, honey, is that there were things that happened over that 4 days that you don't remember, or before you left for that 4 days that you don't remember, that you still haven't addressed or talked to him or Hayden about and apologized or acknowledged that even happened. You guys are never going to heal, honey, when Hayden truly feels that you said you want him to kill himself, truly feels that you said, get out and pack your stuff and go live with your mother. I don't care about you and I don't ever want to see you again. Those things are going to stick in a child's mind and they haven't been talked about. Tristan, you held onto my arm hard. You held a fist up to me. You told me we were done. We were divorced. You didn't want to be with me anymore. He remembers that, honey. And it hasn't been talked about. And they felt just like I did for 4 days that we were getting a divorce. You were done with us as a family.
Let me ask you a question. He remembers that he was there, or you told him, or he
When you
heard your conversations with other people?
when you told me that you wanted a divorce, I definitely was very open with the boys about what happened and why this is happening.
Okay.
I told them exactly what happened. And to me, it was the fact that it happened that way, that you held my arm, that you held your fist up to me, looked at me the way that you did, and said, we are done. I believed you, honey. And Hayden believed everything that you said. And, in this past month, I also feel like I gotta say out loud that the things, like, for example, the few things you got upset with me about this week, I am still hurting. I'm still healing. I know that you held my face the next day before you went to work and said, I'm sorry for the things that happened. Of course, I don't want a divorce. But you don't remember what happened like I do or like they do. And I'm not healed fully from that. So when I ask you for a little bit of grace about silly things like, the door, or I interrupted you a few times because I was excited that you were talking first thing in the morning, and that's not usually your MO. I feel like, gosh, does this man love me at all the way that I love him? Because I give him grace where I'm ashamed that I've given him grace in ways. And I do not get that same thing back. I've never hurt you like that, ever. And I feel like, have I loved a little bit too much with my family or enabled them to do things? Yes. Have I confessed to that and told you that I want to do better? And have I made strides to try to do that? Yes, I have. So I don't feel that I deserve the wrath, and that is the right word for it, that I get sometimes from you, and neither do our children. I don't. And that is why I said to you the other day, do you think that this is something you can work on? Because if you feel that you're completely justified, in the way that you get upset and hold on to that anger like you did this week a few times, Lonnie, that's not the way I want to be loved by a husband. And I'm so scared and sad to say that out loud, because I don't want you to come back to me and say, well then, Jamie, this isn't going to work, because I should be able to be upset with you when I'm upset with you and tell you how I feel, like you said the other day.
No, you're exactly right. I have not taken the opportunity yet to talk to either one of them. I have attempted to try to, but something just like usual comes up. And at the moment that I'm trying to do that, I did not want it to be, because I am fully aware of what um, how angry I got. And I can't remember some of the things that I said that everyone's saying that I said. I don't remember that at all. But what I do know is that I do get upset and I get angry. So therefore, an apology is due. But every time I've tried to and do things the way I wanted to, because I didn't want it to be something as simple as, hey, I'm sorry. Because I, for one, know that constantly when I hear, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, it doesn't mean a hill of beans
Yeah.
whenever they come to me and say, yeah, I'm sorry, my bad, yo. And that's exactly how it's said to me. So it doesn't feel true and fulfilled. And if exactly what everyone is saying that I said and did, a simple sorry to me, although it's better than nothing, isn't enough, and it's not as far as I wanted to go, but something keeps coming up. Something, every chance, every opportunity that I want to take. So I'm just going to have to do it. I'm just going to have to apologize and tell them exactly, what they need to know is that they didn't deserve that. It was wrong of me, and so on. Okay. And that's what I'm going to do very soon. Maybe as soon as I get home, provided they're up and the opportunity is there. Okay. Um, and no, that's not how I want to love you. And that's not how I want to express my love to you. It's not at all. That's not how I want to be at all, to get to a point where I'm that upset. Okay. So I have two options here. I either realize that it was wrong and that there was no call to be upset, in which there's something wrong with me and I'm actually crazy, and I don't have a point at all, because the points that I make and what I say are actually true. They're true. And I would have to ignore the fact that it has gone on as far as it has. There has been, on your part, which, yes, you have apologized for it. Yes, you have done some things to make it different, but it still continues to go on till today. And you say there is no reason for me to have been upset with you recently, but there most certainly has. If I have said it's a high possibility that Hayden has taken something of mine that I am in search of, and your first response is, well, you're not going to go in there and look for it, are you? Oh, no, I'm not, because I'm banned from that area and I shouldn't be going down there and I shouldn't be looking for something that is mine. But one thing I can say is I guarantee you, unless I press the issue, you're not going to go and look and see. You're not going to go
Absolutely.
in.
I
And if you,
would look and see, and I contacted him that very night and asked him about it.
did you tell me about that? Did you say, hey, I asked him and he doesn't have it? And if you
Yeah.
didn't, 90% of the time, no, I had no idea that you talked to him about it. Number one.
That
And number two, if you had, you would be afraid that I'm going to say, well, Hayden tells you anything. And you don't want to hear any of that. The bottom line is, I am now, whether it's wrong, which it is wrong, or right to be upset at all, I am 100% to the wrong in your eyes, 100%. Or you will agree that, yes, this was a situation or whatever in front of John or on our calls or whatever, but you will not make it a priority for you to set a precedence and a standard in our home. You will not. You have not, and you will not. You
okay.
will come up with ways of your ways of what you feel like should be done, which does not fix the issue. It does not make them have respect for our belongings, our time, anything. You do not.
A
And
precedent,
therefore, excuse me,
a precedent for what? Set a precedent for what? I'm confused about
for
what by that.
respect for our belongings, our boundaries, our rules, our requests, responsibilities on their own.
I mean,
You
you
go ahead.
feel, thank you. You feel that I don't do that at all because the results that you're looking for aren't always present. But I definitely, you could
I
call
don't need
our
you to
star.
define, like I've told you before. I don't need you to define or reword what I'm saying to you. If you are confused about what I'm saying, you ask me and I will tell you. If not, don't. This is one of my biggest issues. Do not rewrite everything I say. Do not rewrite everything I feel to make it sound more plausible to you. I said, you don't make a standard. There is no blueprint whatsoever. It is lackadaisical and it is taken care of according to what you deem on your meter of what is an issue from what isn't an issue. What is
Okay.
something that you need to handle or something you don't need to handle, or you don't have the energy to handle, or you just won't go forward and find out yourself.
Okay. Well, first, I just want to say that effective communication is rewording what you think you hear to make sure you understand what the person is saying. So that's what I'm
Right, but
doing. I'm not
that
trying to
is
like,
not what you do. What you do is you say, well, what you're saying is you feel like I don't do these things because you don't see a result. That's
oh,
what
well,
you just did.
what I was going to say after that is, however, I absolutely have set a precedence, even for us moving up into the apartment. I've had a talk with Hayden. Do not just come up into this apartment before we get a new door lock. Do not just come up here and help yourself this refrigerator, use the bathroom, go into our room and check anything out. Do not do anything like that. I definitely set up boundaries and do these things all the time. The only difference is now, since we moved upstairs, is that we are supposed to be working on our marriage first and me handling the parenting. So I'm not talking to you about everything that I talk to the kids about.
No, but when it comes to something that is okay, all right. So tell us what I have had an issue with you this week and what I said to you, and tell me how I was not right in being that, feeling that way, or saying something to you, and how I went about it.
The first day that you woke up upset with me, you were talkative, which I wasn't used to in the morning. I interrupted you 3 or 4 times, which I outwardly admit and apologized for in the time, and then did it again. Just excited in conversation, kind of like the way that anyone overtalks anybody else when they're just having a conversation between friends. That's what I did. And you proceeded to give me a 45-minute lecture about everything I've done wrong in the past 10 years, everything my brothers, everything that you've had to endure from all of us, and what that looks like for you, and how much you have had to sacrifice and deal with in that whole time frame because I
And
interrupted you that few times.
that was the only dialogue, or did you have a whole lot of things to say? And I specifically told you that you constantly make amends or excuses for the things that you do, and there should be no reason for me to be irritated. My first initial action when you interrupted me several times, when I'm trying to answer a question of yours or tell you something, and you completely interrupt me and go on your own, was be quiet and not say anything else. And that was not good enough for you. You had to push, and make me sit there and talk to you instead of being quiet and choosing not to say anything. I specifically said what I'm supposed to be working on. is being quiet and listening to you and not arguing and not fighting. You don't allow that. You want to talk about it now. You want to solve it now. And at the same time, you do not want to take corrective criticism. You are literally that, your responses are always, that's not true. No, what I actually was doing. No, what I meant to say, which is totally different than what you did say. And then when I tell you that, it's, well, you didn't let me finish. And then I'll say, well, I thought I was talking to begin with. How did I not let you finish? Our arguments, to me, end up being so childish because I feel like I'm talking to a person on a level that argues like a kid argues. They don't just sit there and listen, then respond, then listen, then respond, and come back with responses that are on the level of trying to solve something. No, all it is well, that's not true. And that's not what I meant. And this isn't that. And no, you're wrong. And I feel like I'm talking constantly every time we have a disagreement to a kid who just does not want to be looked at in the light of being wrong ever. So there is more dialogue in our conversations than what you let on in the aftermath. There is more to it than just, you interrupted me and I went off. You had a whole lot to say yourself. And every time I tried to tell you, I don't want to start today off arguing. I don't want to do this. This is this. Well, no, that's not true. I don't do that. I've never done that. I don't. And then I'm forced to go down this path of, well, yes, you just did it the other day with this. Or yes, what about this time? Or yes, what about, I always have to validate what I'm saying because you refuse to take ownership of what you're doing. And if you do, it's only in the form of, well, I'm sorry, but blah, 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 blah. There is a conversation being had there, not just, I got mad because you interrupted me and I went off on you.
Well,
Those
you
are all,
didn't go off. You kept your cool. It was just, the length and everything that you were saying, not that you got super angry. And I did say, when you said, what I was trying to do was say, continue what you were trying to tell me, honey. I'm sorry that I interrupted you again. And you said, no, I'm just going to get ready and go to work now. And I was like,
yeah.
I feel like I can't even be me. Like, I had my guard down and I just interrupted you out of excitement in a conversation and I'm in trouble. And that's when you went into your long
No,
thing
you're
to try
not
to
in
correct
trouble.
me.
I just don't want to argue with you. And I'm already at that point where I've been interrupted so many times on what I'm saying that at this point I've lost passion for saying what I'm saying. It's not the end of the world. With you, everything is the end of the world. If I become quiet, it's the end of the world. If I tell you I don't want to discuss it anymore because we're not seeing eye to eye, it's the end of the world for you. And it all turns into your emotions. And now I'm forced to talk about it when at this moment it is not the right time anymore. Because
Yeah,
anything I say at this point, and you're being sensitive, anything at this point is just either way for me, no matter how I open my mouth, no matter what I say, it's not going to go anywhere because it's already been pushed off the cliff, literally pushed straight smooth off the cliff, verbally and emotionally. It's not the right time. And I can't seem to get you to understand that. You need things fixed for you right now. And the only thing that will fix it is that I totally understand how you feel right now and let go of what I was talking about. Let go of how I felt to begin with. And that's why I came to you to begin with, or that's why I said something to you to begin with. Let go of what I'm saying and what I'm expressing and hold you in the moment. Hold your hand, look at you in your eyes, and tell you how much I love you, despite the fact that you have yet again, repeatedly in the same moment, done the same thing to me that I said that you have been doing to me. And at that moment is when I need to show you in the only way that you will receive how much I love you. And to me, this is how I can show you I love you without getting upset, without getting mad, and just letting it go. And we could try again later. That doesn't work for you. You can't function. You can't sleep at night. You can't anything. And we have to beat it to death. And meanwhile, the whole time it is getting lost because I'll tell you what I was saying and you'll go right back to, no, that's not true. This isn't true. That's not true. It's not worth it. To me, it's not worth it. Let it go. I'm way bigger than that. You're way bigger than that. We're way bigger than that.
If that's true, then why do we allow ourselves to get in situations where you're so upset that you're mad for hours? And almost, I mean, we can say it is very true. It 4 to 6 days a week, you are upset with me or upset about something.
Well,
Why does
Jamie,
it get,
that would,
why?
in order for me to answer that question for you, it would have to take some admittance on your part. If I tell you why and you argue it, there's no point in me telling you why. If I'm under the understanding that you asked me a question as to why I'm upset with you, you have to accept what I'm saying. You don't have to totally agree with it if I'm straight up lying about it. But if I take the time to prove to you and go through it, that insults you because now I'm living in the past. Even if I'm talking about yesterday or the day before or a week ago or whatever, I'm dwelling on the past and you are trying to make a change. Well, if that was the case, then there would be no reason for me to be upset right now. And I'm just making it up. And the majority of the time, we can at least get to the point where, out of anger, you will say, yes, that did happen, but there's no reason for you to be that upset because it's not a big deal. Well, it's not a big deal to you. And that's why I keep telling you, you define what I'm supposed to be happy about. You define what I should be angry about. You define how happy I should be if I'm to be happy about something. You
Can you
define that.
understand? I hear you, but can you understand how if you put yourselves in my shoe, if you put yourself in my shoes as well, that literally things that I would not get upset with you for, you do to me. I am made to feel what you feel. When you are upset with me about something that I feel I would not get upset with you about, or you have a negative mindset, or you're upset about something 4 to 5, 6, 7 days a week, I am right there with you, living that with you. And all I want to do, that is why I literally a month ago or however long it was in the bathroom with you said, Lonnie, I need your permission to not have to be upset with you when you're upset
And what did I tell you?
because I
I
am
remember that
drowning.
conversation. And I told you, stop with me or anybody in your life. Stop making yourself feel what they feel. If it is something that is true, I said, let's go by facts. Is this a fact? Is that a fact? If it is a fact and it isn't proper, change it. Don't keep living in it, but sitting there feeling my anger and being upset because you feel my anger. Or you're feeling you take too much on you and you turn it in a negative way. Well, my guts are all mashed up because you're upset at me right now. Do I have
But
a
we
reason to
are,
be upset with you or do I not? If I do, then if you feel like it's worth changing or you think it's proper for you to change that, then just change it.
okay.
That's what I
So
do
we've
for
hit,
you.
is it?
If there's anything you have a problem with other than the one thing that you know, and I know that when I get fed up, I get upset.
So is it,
Everything else on the table, if there's an issue that you have with it, I change it. If you tell me, hey, this is not right, blah blah blah, this and that, and I say, yep, you're right. Boom. Do I ever do it again? No. Do half the stuff, do I ever bring that to the table to begin with? Do I bring disrespect to the table? Do I bring sheer not caring about no one else in the house and what is is good for them as far as having the things that they need, utilizing everything, wasting everything, making a huge mess everywhere, and saying, I don't care. I don't care. I don't
Well, of
care
course
that.
you don't. You're not a child.
Okay,
Of
well,
course you
let's
don't.
look at you then. Are you an adult or are you a child?
I am an adult, and if you're going to say that I seriously mess up everything and all the things that you just said were
I didn't
examples,
say
I do.
everything, but do you do things in our home the same? Or have I said to you, let's start with that. Have I said to you, half the time I come around here and I ask who actually did that, and you'll stay silent, and the kids will be like, I don't know, I have no idea, I have no idea. You won't say nothing, won't say nothing, won't say nothing until I press the issue, and later on you'll say, I have to admit that was me. And I'm like, really, James? And I just shake my head or roll my eyes or whatever. And I'm like, really? They're
And
not going to change if you do the same stuff. But
these are
that I'm wrong.
okay, you're not wrong that I may have made that mistake, but you are wrong for keeping score for it. There's so many things. How about the fact that you've had hair in the sink for the since yesterday morning? Do I say
I
a
cleaned
word?
it.
No.
I cleaned it
How
up.
about
And the reason why there was hair in the sink is because the drain does not drain down all the way. I shaved, and each time I go in there, I try to rinse it down and I try to clean it out. But we're in a hurry to leave the house, in a hurry. And
Mhm.
this morning, I went in there and I cleaned it all up. Yes, I did.
Yep, and I saw that too. The difference that between the way that I handle those kinds of things, or for instance, losing things. I got a big conversation about that the other day. The difference in how I handle things with you is one, I didn't mention it at all until now to make a point. And two, I accept your reasons as plausible reasons in your mind. When I say something like that, I should have stood there and rinsed it until it went down, and that is an excuse.
No, 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 no. No, that's not how it goes. And as far as your example of losing things, Jamie, since we have gotten together, how many times have you lost things, lost them, and it has cost valuable time? I've had to break into our house several times, scale up into the house. You have lost my cards, credit cards, debit cards, your credit cards, debit cards, every week almost for 2 to 3 weeks out of a whole month. You would go back to work and still forget your keys. And now I have to rush home to let you in because you don't have your keys again. And I did not go off on you about that. I talked to you because every day almost you don't know where your phone is. You don't know where the remote is. You don't know where the remotes to the dog's collars are. You don't know where your keys are. Your phone is in the bathroom. It's downstairs. It's outside in the car. It's
But
everywhere.
I'm the only one in the house that can be asked at any time where anything is, and I almost always know. I have
That's
so
confusing to
much.
me on top of it. You
Yeah,
know where everybody else's stuff is, but you don't know where your stuff is.
right.
And
So why
every
does
time I'm in
your
the middle of something and I got to go find yours or do
and
something.
there's a lot of things that I need to do for you too that I just do without complaint. And it would just be appreciated if that could be the same for me. I do not get the level of grace that I give you. I don't. You think that you just don't make messes around the house and you reasonably respect everyone's boundaries and all that kind of stuff.
I just think
So
that, let
you
me
are,
ask you, do you think that I make messes around that house and leave things everywhere on the level of what everyone else does?
on the level of
Honestly,
what everyone else does? Of course not. These are 20-year-olds and kids. Of course not. I think you and I are very close. Very close. If it was just you and me in the house by ourselves, let's just lay it out there. You haven't done any laundry or dishes since we moved up to the apartment. I have cleaned everything. The only time that you've contributed to our new place is the last 2 days, and you had a terrible negative attitude the entire time because of the way that people carried stuff up for you and the way that things were laid out. And it is a gigantic mess, and I completely understand that. But you also need to remember that this is something everyone is doing to make space and grace for you to feel comfortable.
No,
Everyone in the house
that's where
liked
you're
everything.
wrong. They are not making room and space available to make me comfortable. They are putting, I am going upstairs because there is no order in our home. And it has gotten me so upset in 10 years, 10 years of everything being the same and making excuses for it is why I'm going up there to prevent me from being upset about it. You are defining it as and spinning it as it is for comfortability for me. In the long run, it becomes comfortability for me only if things go according to the way I would like it to be in this apartment. Only. And let's
And
start from the beginning. No, it has not. Our stuff was taken up there and dumped up there on the floor on a dirty, pissed
yeah,
on, crapped on rug already. Let's
I know.
yup. There's
I know
one
that.
yup.
Wait a minute. I
You
know that. But
know
wait,
I hate from the beginning. It has not started out to be comfortable for me. I walk in there and it stinks. There is
right.
feces and urine everywhere up there, buried into the rug. My stuff
Mhm.
is laying on it. My allergies are through the roof from being up there. I said, I do not want this to be rushed and I don't want my stuff thrown in there. That's
I know that, honey.
already
I
been
know.
done.
I
Number
I
one.
totally
Number
understand that.
number two, there's no room up there for our stuff because your brother did not get his stuff out like he said he was going to, that it is all packed up. I have seen since we've been up there, you do nothing but make it easier on him by getting all his stuff ready and making our boys bring it downstairs. There's number 3 point of mine. Number 4 point is I can't find anything that I have because it it looks like the downstairs threw up into the upstairs that was already threw up on.
Okay, hold on so I don't forget my point here. I understand what you just said about me making it easier for my brother, but that's the way that right there is one of the main things I'm talking about. I am doing that for us to get his crap out of the way so we can put our stuff where we want it. I'm not doing it for Bobby. I am not doing it for Bobby. And I'm asking our boys who are totally capable to help me because Bobby either isn't there or is not going to come up and do it right away. And I don't want to have it interfere with me and you and our peaceful night having to argue with my brother. So I say to my children who are 14 and 15 and totally capable of helping, please come up here and get this stuff so it can be out of the apartment for me and you, not for Bobby.
No, but your actions are doing it for him. And the longer he lives with us, it's going to stay that way. Just like the choice of me moving out. We can go on and on and on and on about the differences of what we think and what you think and what I think. I have definitely said I take responsibility for my anger. It should not be that way. But the only thing left for me is to go along with how you want it to be. There is no precedence that the boys should have respect and actually be respectful. This is the notion of how it's supposed to be, watch videos on it, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. But they do not display it and you don't enforce it.
I
There
think
is
our
no
boys are
level
good
of,
boys. They are respectful to you right now.
no, they're
I
not.
think
No, they're not. They are down there and I am up there. There is no exercise of it whatsoever. There
are
is no
okay.
exercise of it.
There's
They are
no
14
exercise.
and 15 years old, and they do not take the trash out without being reminded or you do it for them. They do not go out there and put it where it's supposed to be. They walk to that garage every time you tell them, hey, put this out in the garage. They stand in the doorway and throw it to the back of the garage. They do come and take. Hayden comes and takes my stuff. I never see it again. Your brother borrows it from me. I never see it again. When I ask where it is, nobody knows. When I ask you to go find out, you won't go find out, and you tell me I'm not going to go find out. There is no exercise.
Honey, I won't,
There,
you won't.
can I finish that point? There is no exercise of showing respect, understanding, mutual living in harmony amongst everyone. All there is this person goes to their corner of the house, that person goes to their corner of the house, this person goes to their corner of the house. You give grace and don't say anything to anybody, and I should follow suit with what you do. That's what happens.
Okay, you know what? I appreciate that that is the way that you feel. I'm going to say how I feel. I 100% do have expectations of our children. I do demand a level of respect from them. They do have rules that they follow from me. Absolutely, 100%. I do demand.
Yes.
Right now, because we are in a separate situation and you're not disciplining and you're not, you know, doing that kind of stuff anymore. You're not parenting them directly. And you're saying that you're going to address the elephant in the room, like we said. So great. But we can't expect any growth to happen until that happens. So I feel like
that's my,
all right,
it's always on me. Always on me to be the one to fix the problem. Because my anger becomes the most important thing. Not what got me there. Not what got me upset.
Correct. When you deliver the message the way that you do, the message doesn't matter anymore, honey.
Well, the message, if I deliver it the right way, which I have several times, it doesn't make a bit of damn difference, because it's not going to stay that way. It is not going to be understood. It is not going to be enforced. I will be 100% honest and tell you, I would never, ever get upset with anyone to the levels that I have if there wasn't a reason for me to be upset to begin with. My level of upsetness may be different from yours, but I wouldn't get to that level. There is a point to be made there, regardless if you think so or not. Regardless. Every person in our household does not take responsibility for themselves or the things that they should to make it a comfortable home for people to live in. You may be comfortable with the way that they do things. You may be comfortable with the way that your brother is. You may be comfortable with the way that the dogs are taken care of. You may be comfortable with that, but I am not. And I will not allow you to define what I should be happy with and settle for what you think is right and what is wrong. We can have differences, but when it comes down to the sheer basics of a family structure, respect for your parents, respect for your home, respect for the privacy of your parents, respect for their wishes of how things should be done in their home, I do not want to hear, oh, well, they're little. Oh, well, they're teenagers. Oh, well, pretty soon it will be, oh, well, they're grown ass adults, but, you know, they're my kids. So, you know, they're going to, you know, I'm going to be there for them.
Zero faith in me, honey. That's what you just said right there. Zero.
No, it's not zero faith in you. No, it's not. It's a fact of the matter that it is true that you will accept way more than I would have. Period.
I just got done telling you from the beginning of this conversation. Hold on a second. You've been talking for a while, and I will not remember anything that I want to say if I can't interject a little bit here and there. I have said repeatedly since we got on the phone and started talking about our issues that It is not that I am not bothered by these things. You have to believe me when I say that. That is
I
part of the
don't
big
have
issue.
to.
You don't.
I have to
You don't
see.
believe
I
me.
have to see it before I can believe it.
So I have to, what do I have to do? I have to get pissed off and
No,
freak out
no,
so that you can see,
no,
oh, she does get upset about this just like
no.
I do.
You do not have to get pissed off. You do not have to yell. You do not have to scream like I have to get to. You don't have to do that. The reason I'm gonna tell you the reason why you don't. You don't because one, by nature, you're not the type to get mad like that until on because I've seen it. I've seen you get mad. I've seen you yell. I've seen you swear, and I have seen you physically put hands on Hayden. I've seen it. But it isn't until he has upset you to that level. You don't feel like anybody else should ever get to that level. But it's okay for you when you've had enough. When you've had enough, when he has disrespected you and your money and your time and your love and everything till you've snapped, that's different because you're a mom and your voice doesn't get as loud and you aren't as physically capable of doing the things that a father could do when they're that upset. If you don't find something wrong with it, there's no point for you to get that upset. That's my point. I find a
Actually,
reason to
okay, hold
say
on.
that the things that are done are not right and it doesn't show order and it doesn't show respect. And when it's done repeatedly forever and ever and ever, and there's an excuse made for it, or someone's going to do it for them or fix it for them, and they get to be that way forever, that's the way it's going to be. And if I have a problem with it, I voice it nicely, nothing changes. Nothing changes. And if you tell me it has changed, you walk in that door right now and you take a good 360-degree turn and look around and you tell me it's different. I haven't been down there for a few weeks. There's no way I could have added to any of it. There's no way I could have made it any worse. You show me where something's different just simply because I moved upstairs. You tell me where there's something different between me and you just because the kids aren't up there right now, but I'm talking to you specifically about things that I have an issue with. And you will make excuses for it. You will argue with me. You will cut me off and tell me that I shouldn't have a problem with it, even if my upsetness is just being quiet. And tell me that I don't have a reason to feel like you define what my happiness should be and you define how upset I should be about something or what should bother me from what doesn't, just simply because it doesn't bother you.
Because
I am
I'm,
tired of
hold
being
on, wait a minute.
dictated by what you would do and what you wouldn't do.
You are tired of being dictated. You are tired of being
Yes,
dictated. Oh
yes.
my goodness. I can't.
Or regulated. Let me use a different word. Regulated by what you feel is wrong and what you feel is right versus what I
My
feel is
love,
wrong and what
I
I
say
feel is
this
right.
in the most loving way I possibly can. If you
Okay.
would regulate yourself better, then I would never feel like my regulation of you would have to come into play.
And I
I,
feel like if I regulated myself the way that you regulate yourself, we would be in a situation where neither one of us give two shits about how it is in our household.
if you really think I don't give two shits about what happens to our kids in our household, out of the household, I don't care if they're slobs, I don't care if they go to school, I don't care if they have structure, anything. What are we doing? What are we doing?
That's my
You don't
question.
know me at all.
That's my question. That is literally my question. How did
So
we
you
get to
feel
where
that
we are
way.
now if I am the type of person if I am the type of person to get upset about certain things and want change and ask for change and beg for change and yell for change and it still hasn't happened, how could we do it your way and it would be different? Are you saying I'm the reason why they are the way that they are because I get upset about it?
No, I'm
Have
saying,
I made them this way?
no, what I'm saying is maybe if we stopped living in the flesh and allowing our differences to come between us, and we actually lived a godly way, armored up the way we're supposed to, and went to the Bible for what we're supposed to do, and you led the family in a biblical way where I don't have to be scared about your reactions or anything like that, and we can do it in a way where you're not discouraging the kids to the point of being depressed, or us being depressed, or yourself being depressed, honey. And I felt comfortable in that role where I could just be a submissive wife and a mom and do the things that I'm supposed to do. Then we would really be getting somewhere.
So you are saying that I am preventing you from being an effective parent role mother.
No, no. I'm saying I feel already, I have voiced to you several times, I am confident in what I have done as a mother. I think Hayden is who Hayden is because he has his mother's genes, because he has his father's genes, and because, damn it, Lonnie, he has his own mind and you can't control him. We haven't been able to control that kid since he was 3 years old. He is going to be who he's going to be. He's going to be who he's going to be. We can set up the boundaries. We can keep grounding him when he doesn't follow our rules. Yes, we can. And we have done that. We have done everything we can do for that kid. I am
We have
satisfied
also
with that.
accepted it. We have also accepted it.
If we don't accept him at some point a little bit for who he is, Lonnie, he's going to kill himself or he's going to run away and we're going to lose him forever. I am not talking about innate
you are scared. You are scared of him doing that. That's why you do not lay it down. You do not say this will not go on in our home because we
I
both
say that to him all the time, honey.
You have told me several times we cannot push it because you know what he'll do. We cannot tell him that it is literally not acceptable. We can only address it when he does it.
I don't know what you're talking about right now. What I have said is we can't literally say to him, Hayden, if you do this, you don't live here anymore. Or Hayden, if you do this, I am not going to, example, you and Jason's conversation the other day, saying to your child, listen, if you don't do what I want you to do and you don't respect me, you get zero love from me. You get zero support from me. That's not being a parent. Teenagers are going to test us. They're going to push those boundaries and they have to know that we do still love them and are going to show them love regardless.
And I didn't agree with him, and he did not say you don't get love from me. What he said was, I am not going to buy you the shoes that you want. I will buy you Walmart shoes that are more in my budget than the $100 and some odd dollars I've been paying for to begin with.
Okay. Yeah,
he did not say you will not get love from me.
Let's calm down.
Come on, James. He didn't go to the point.
Yes, he did, honey. He sure did.